We are continuing our tax preparation series to help set you up for success so you'll avoid getting calls from Uncle Sam. If you're a homeowner, perhaps you didn't know that you qualify for benefits and tax breaks, and that can amount to thousands of dollars. Our next guests are Ryan and Royale Jockers, and they are a real estate power couple in Houston, and they're here to educate and counsel clients through the home buying process, and also here to share their expertise with us. And thank you so much to you both for being with us this morning on Start Your Day.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Before homeowners get too carried away, let's talk about expenses that are off limits. What are considered non-deductible expenses?
Yeah, there's so much valuable information we're excited to share. We do want to say to get a personalized tax analysis, you want to consult with a local tax professional or certified public accountant. But yes, there's several thousands of dollars in savings to be had, and it's important that you familiarize yourself with what's deductible and what's not deductible. The home office is one of the biggest misconceptions. If you're a 1099 employee, or I'm sorry, if you're a 1099 contractor, you can write off your home office. Or if you're a business owner and you own and operate your business out of your home office, you can write it off. However, if you're a W 2 employee and you've worked from home the last year because of COVID, your office is not tax deductible. You also want to make sure you're paying attention to exemptions, right? There's so many great exemptions to be had for homeowners. Your homestead exemption can save you up to 20%. You need to make sure you're filing for that. You also want to make sure you're taking advantage of the 65 and over exemptions or your disabled veterans, which can get you out of, paying property tax altogether sometimes.
I've heard in the past experts say that you got to be really careful though when you set up a home office because oftentimes that can be a red flag. What advice do you have, or what should we know when it comes to that?
Definitely, as Royale alluded to, if you are a W 2 employee, you are not able to write off your home office like a 1099 contractor would, or like a small business owner or somebody that works for themselves. If you're self employed, you're able to write off your home office, but W 2 employees uh, don't get near as many deductions for home office.
And the same thing goes with home improvements, right? They fall into that special category. So for home improvements, let's say you renovated your kitchen, that's not a tax deduction. Okay, but if it was a necessity, like you put in a handicap rail or something like that, if it's a necessity for accessibility, it is a write off and you can deduct it from your taxes.
That's really important to know. You know, the cost of home ownership has gotten so expensive. I think it's like 15% higher than it was the same time last year. And we often talk a lot about the expenses of home ownership, but what are some of the other ways that we can actually benefit from it?
Tax deductions.
Well, the good thing, yeah. So you got to make sure you're taking advantage of all your deductions. So we've had great interest rates. Interest rates, as we all know, are starting to go up to manage this inflation. But you can write off up to $10,000 of mortgage interest. Okay. You can also write off your interest for home equity lines of credit. Anytime you write off, anytime you're getting a loan, sometimes you can pay discount points or pay to get your interest rate lower. Anything you pay to lower your interest rate is a tax deductible item. Property taxes, at the end of the year, you're going to be paying property taxes, or if you have an escrow account, you're paying every month with your mortgage. Make sure you know exactly what that number is and write that off in April when you do your taxes. Like Royale said earlier, any necessary home improvements, like if they're for medical reasons, if you have to make any adjustments to your house, you can write that off.
Those are tax deductible.
And then, but you cannot write off kitchen improvements or primary bathroom improvements. And then home office expenses are write-offs for 1099 contractors, and
Yeah.
your mortgage insurance. you can write off your insurance premiums.
Now, what about if you make a renovation to, say, your kitchen, but it's like energy efficient? I've heard people say that they've been able to use that in the past, sort of installing things that were solar friendly. Is that a myth, or is that really a thing?
Solar panels are deductible. If you put something like that on your house, that is deductible. I don't know about the appliances themselves in the kitchen, but the solar panels on the roof,
Yeah.
yes.
So that sounds like that's another area that we have to be really careful on, and there's sort of a line. Talk to us about capital
Yeah.
gains when you sell your home. Explain, what do you qualify for? How can you make that work for you?
Fantastic. Well, there's two types. There's short-term and there's long-term gains, and they fall into two different categories.
So short-term capital gains are if you buy and sell a house in the same year, in the same 365 days, then that's short-term capital gains, and you're going to be taxed on your taxable income level. So you're going to pay the most amount of taxes if you do that. That applies for people that renovate or flip, house flippers, people that buy and sell in the same year.
They just put it right on top of your income and tax you at the same rate
Yes.
as your income tax.
Now, long term is if you hold it for any length longer than 1 year, then you're going to get a tax break as a long term capital gain. And then there's another category altogether where if you live in the house at any time for at least 2 out of 5 years, you may be able to get out of paying taxes altogether.
That's the best deduction. If you live in it for 2 years but own it for 5 years, that's a substantial deduction.
Yeah.
Well, we are learning so much from you two. The more you know. Thank you both for being with us. Really appreciate you stopping by and helping us save some money.
Fantastic. Thanks for having us. So happy to share information.
God bless you guys.
Brought to you by Intuit TurboTax Live. You do your thing, we've got your taxes.